Hello and welcome back to the Off-Grid family. The other day a friend of mine asked if his son could borrow my metal detector, and I was like, yeah, of course you can. And then when I got it off the shelf, I noticed that some of the plastic had broken. I think it had like UV damage or whatever, and it had just become very, very brittle. So I need to fix it before I can let them borrow it. So this is what I'm going to do in this video. So I hope you enjoy it. Before we actually get on though, I'd like to thank David, my Patreon. Thank you so much for all your support throughout the entirety of this channel. I really appreciate everything you've done. Also, if you'd like to become a Patreon, pop down in the description and you can find out how to do that and get all of the benefits, etc. that go with that position. Anyway, let's get on. Okay, this is falling apart, and I did not know that wire was sheared through. I don't know what's happened. It's obviously where it's been stored, it's just been slowly getting scratched away, I think. Okay, so there's a little bit more to do with this, but it is literally, I don't know what's happened. It's like the sun has damaged it or something. I'm not really sure. So I need to deal with this, which is frayed quite badly, and then I need to deal with this section. We need to find a way of connecting this again. I'm thinking about 3D printing some parts, but I'm not sure yet. I went away and ummed and ahed about it, and this was the only way. So I designed a little mock-up in Fusion 360, and it may be a little high, but it looks the part. It looks good enough, I think. Okay, so we've taken this off and I've scratched it up a little bit. I will use this rasp in a minute to scratch it up a little bit more for helping with adhesion. This was the pieces we've taken off, and then these are, well, this is half of a 3D printed bit. That's not the bit I wanted. This is a bit that I've 3D printed. I think it's going to be a little too high. I think there's going to be a lot of strain on the actual piece, and it might end up coming off, but I don't really care. I'm going to stick it on anyway, and we're just going to see if it works. First thing I want to do is make sure, well, clean it all up because it's still got all the support material in and stuff, and then I'm going to see if it connects up safely to this and securely, kind of thing. If it does, then we're going to epoxy it down like this, somewhere around there, and hope to God it's strong enough. Okay, there you go. I put a few bits of support material in here just to make it stronger, and I printed this on 100% infill. These will be free to my Patreons. If you want to download one, by all means go ahead. Right, okay, let's test it, make sure it fits here. Okay. While checking to see if this screw actually fit, I was starting to worry about the actual wire getting frayed more, and I didn't really know what to do at this point on how to fix that, but I do address it later on, don't worry. Yeah, that's solid. That's actually better than the last one, the original one. Now, I get a lot of people asking me about this metal thing and how it does it interfere and so on. It has no relevance to the actual, I believe it's called a transmitter, but to this coil, it does not pick it up at all. So it only tends to pick up anything below it, strangely enough. It's almost like it was designed that way. But I get a lot of people talking about, you know, oh, that's obviously picking that up. I've tried it. I did loads of tests with it before I used metal because the last one was plastic and it broke almost immediately. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is scuff this up because I want better adherence. Is that a word? So now it's all scuffed. I'll do the same to this piece. Right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix a batch of epoxy and connect it to about there. Right, before I do any gluing of any kind, I'm going to fix this first because it started to get itself stuck in the tube because a bit of the plastic was coming off and getting stuck down here, so I couldn't pull it out. So now we've got a much longer piece. So first off, we're going to need some heat shrink tubing. That should be enough. I buy everything in bulk, you may notice. This is like 1,000,000 meters of the stuff. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut down the length that I need with a scalpel. I'm going to need maximum that amount. I'm only cutting down one side. It's going to be really hard to film doing this. Without cutting myself, I mean. Damn it, yeah, I'm not going to be able to do it while filming. Basically, you just need to cut a line down it. I'll try down from this angle. So now we've got a piece that will open up over the bit we're going to try and heat shrink wrap. Trying to get this how I needed it was an absolute pain. This is 500 times speed and it still is too slow. So I'm possibly going to have to now change that to 1,000 times speed because it was just hours of time, it felt like. I know you can't really see, but there's a piece of heat shrink across the whole of this, and now I'm going to just add a couple of dots of super glue. Right, now I'm going to leave that to dry, and then I'm going to just use it like I would any normal regular heat shrink tubing and heat it up, and it should close tight over that, and then I will actually be putting another layer on exactly the same way, and that should hopefully then secure it. Okay, so I've put heat shrink tubing on here now, but this bit is still sticking out, and I'm gonna, once I've connected this all up, I'm gonna actually secure this with either hot glue or something, just so that it doesn't bend here, because I'm a bit concerned about that. But next, let's get this bit epoxied on just here and hope that stays where it's supposed to. Okay, so I've got my epoxy mixed. It's not a very good epoxy, it's the only one I've got, but it's quite a cheap one. It does work most cases, but I'm just going to be generous and add as much of this as I can to it, and then I'm going to do it on the area I'm actually going to glue it as well. Somewhere around here. Right, once I've got this where I want it, I am going to be clamping it in place and just leaving it overnight. Right. Before I clamp it down, I'm just going to move some of this overflowing bits around it. So I want it literally all, I want too much here, so I want it to be hopefully as strong as possible. I'm going to go get another clamp. What are we stuck on? Okay, now I'm going to leave that overnight. Right, so I've allowed it to dry, cure, etc. overnight. And what I'm going to do now is stretch this out a bit. Hang on. And connect this through. And in a minute I'm going to, I don't know actually. Yeah, in a minute I'm going to glue up the sides here to stop it breaking. Okay, so that holds it pretty tight. So that's cool. Right, now I'm going to get some hot glue and I'm going to glue all this down and hope that that will hold it tight and secure. It's not ideal, obviously. Right, this is a glue gun I got sent by Newmaster. I think that's how you pronounce it, N-E-U, Master. And to be honest, I'm pretty impressed with it. The speed at which it heats up is like 3 times faster than any of the other ones I've got. And you've got a high and low power on it, and it works really well. Okay, so there it is. It's not the neatest thing I've ever done, but it should work. Let's test it, shall we? Okay, there we go. It was relatively easy having a 3D printer that I was able to design the parts on, and you know, it just seemed to, everything seemed to go together. I would, if I had the chance, change the method I used to cover the wires because it's gone a bit brittle and so on. What I might do is I might take all that off and I might use a bit of hot glue or something just so that it's not so brittle and, you know, ugly looking. But we'll see, I'm not sure. I've got it working, that's the main thing. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I will see you again next week. Bye for now.